Welcome to the podcast, The Unselfish Purpose of Life. Over 15 years ago, I started at a radio station with a monthly show on the purpose and value of unfolding the full potential of life. The discussion centered around the most basic value of life, which is consciousness, and the many angles and disciplines to understand its value in active, daily, responsible life. Consciousness is the basis of our perception of the world. It compromises levels of wakefulness, levels of awareness. That's a brief description. We can explore that more as we head into more podcasts. But many of the shows that I did, the station, they put them into podcasts, and they're on the station's website. But since podcasts are much more popular now, I decided to do just a little editing and updating and maybe put these podcasts in a different placement for greater exposure. The radio station it's not public or commercial. They allowed me to have a really wonderful show for a long time. It's listener supported. If you're interested to check it out, it's WPKN.org, and that's O-R-G, and it's always streaming online. Well, my name is Kathy Connor, and I have been exploring the field of human potential for more than 50 years. I am a certified teacher of the Transcendental Meditation program, and I teach this very special and specific technique in the public. Today's podcast is really kind of a redo of one I did some years ago, and it's called Summer Shorts. And I'm not talking fashion, or we could say lack of it, if one wears shorts with socks and sandals. So it's more like vignettes, just a little collection of thoughts of summer related to something interesting, I hope. And I'm going to start each little section with the title of a song that reminds me of the summertime. Now, Memorial Day just passed, a few weeks ago now, it goes quickly, and that's considered the official start of summer, even though the summer solstice is coming up in a few days. But we can start as early as we like to enjoy the summer fun. And of course, we can go to the beach, have barbecues, picnics, and enjoy music festivals. This podcast is about those summer activities, but in the light of awareness, consciousness, some depth of understanding, perhaps we could say, in the light really of creating balance and joy and fullness in life. Okay, so the first song is called Summertime. And the next line is, and the living is easy. And if you know that song, there's a main reason why people seek out the TM, Transcendental Meditation Technique, and that's to find more balance. They want to be healthy in every possible way. And there are many tools to improve health. We know most of those. We eat well, exercise, hang out with positive people, wear a hat in the winter, and also one in the summer. And in the summertime, we may move a little slower. We may take a little more time to take it easy. But shouldn't that be the case every season? Now, if you go to Google and listen to Summertime, find the one with Louis Armstrong and Ella Fitzgerald. That one is really very moody. All you feel like doing is finding a lounge chair, a nice beverage, closing your eyes, and just listening to it. You just want to relax. So sometimes I like to do that, even without listening to anything. Maybe sit in the sun, take it easy when I have time, and some sunscreen, of course. But sometimes when I'm fully engaged in that kind of relaxed activity, I think, wouldn't it be nice to not have to work hard? Wouldn't it be nice to sit on the beach with a good book and an enjoyable beverage anytime I want, not have to do a lot to get a lot done? Well, one way to achieve that goal is to have a personal assistant. Well, I don't have one of those, and I don't see that happening anytime soon. But another way is to achieve that goal is to generate more efficiency of action from within ourselves. Do less, accomplish more is a result of a balanced state of life. The basis of activity, the basis of anything we do, what we accomplish in our life, is thinking. You have to have a thought, and then you enable that thought and engage that thought. The basis of thinking is your awareness. We call it consciousness. The value of our thinking, the value of the outcome of our thinking, is based on the quality of our thinking, or we could say how connected we are to the source of thought, which is also pure consciousness. It's that state of mind where there's maximum balance, equanimity. It's stable and powerful. For example, if you have an intuitive experience, if you have intuition, that's actually a thought, but it's a thought that you can perceive on a quieter level of the mind. It's much more abstract. We've all had this experience, most likely. The intellect doesn't support why you have that thought. Maybe you have a bad feeling about something and you can't shake it. Everyone's telling you there's nothing wrong, but you can't shake it. Well, that's an intuition. And we've often learned, sometimes the hard way, that when we ignore those kinds of thoughts, or we can describe them as feelings, then we wish we had not. They are more powerful, they are accurate, and they're efficient. So let's go even deeper in the mind, to the source of thought, where thought arises. It's very abstract there, but it's even more accurate, powerful, and effective. So having success in the outer, in the field of activity where we fulfill our desires, where we do all our business, it should have a strong basis, a strong foundation to produce efficiency. Everything has a foundation. The roots of a tree are strong and stable, or the tree will topple. The foundation of a building is strong to support the weight of the structure. A solid foundation for life is really the first prerequisite for a successful life. The outer life, we can call it the material world, is defined by constant change. That's its nature. And that's a topic we did in an earlier podcast. Constant change, it's not stable. Can be some great stuff, but it's not going to be there permanently. But to have stability is to infuse that outer life that we enjoy with the inner stability, or we can say non-changing aspect. Pure consciousness, also called being, also now we're calling it source of thought, is a stable level of life, yet it remains hidden for the most part because it is abstract, because we did forget about it. It's there in everyone at the depth of the mind, but we lost connection. We lost the technology, how to contact it, and then the importance of enlivening it. That was also lost. And then we started to try to have it. Well, that's activity. How are you going to reduce activity if you're increasing activity? Okay, something to think about. When this stability is experienced by the mind and retained, it's not a here or there experience, but it remains a part of daily life's experience. The results are greater clarity of thought, usefulness of thought, efficiency of thought. So what does efficiency of thought mean? It means when we have a thought, or say we could call it a desire, it's more easily fulfilled. And that happens. It happens to us if you're thinking of someone and you find a text from them you haven't heard from them in ages, or finding a parking space with no effort at all when everyone else is driving in circles. Do we say, oh, lucky you, or coincidence? Maybe. Well, is that the answer? Or is it efficiency of the thinking mind? Well, I'm going to say it's the latter. If we can think from more expansive, more connected levels of the mind, the results are also more evolutionary and encompassing. The process of moving forward for greater success may involve going in the other direction. It usually does. An arrow and a bow will go much further if you pull it back. The mind, when brought back to its finer fields, will produce more efficient results. There's a bridge to bring the inner value of life, that more stable and efficient level, into the outer. And that's a procedure to contact this inner field directly with no effort, or least effort. Effort produces strain, and effort also involves an expectation and an anticipation of a specific result that's always going to have some limitations, because that's how the conscious mind works. These finer levels of consciousness within the mind are less concrete, less active, yet more orderly. And this is the procedure of the transcendental meditation technique. to contact these finer fields of consciousness, and in the coming out after 20 minutes back into busy day, the stable state of pure consciousness becomes an integrated part of our life over time. It becomes part of our thinking more and more over time. It's not overnight, it's over time. I said that already. There's considerable and compelling research on all this. This isn't something I'm just saying off the top of my head. For example, during the TM practice, there's an increase in a particular kind of brainwave activity called alpha 1 that indicates a settled, awake, clear, functioning, orderly brain. And that continues to stay with you into the day, again, over time, as you open up that channel, you could call it. There's also increased brain coherence or connection between the parts of the brain. That's very important because we think, oh, as we age, we're going to lose this. It doesn't have to be. If you're doing something to improve the quality of the brain functioning, you can continue to have a very effective brain, mind. For thinking to be maximally effective, the thought needs to be expressed in such a way that it is fulfilled without strain or tension, and that means that the energy required for thinking is less and the thought is powerful and effective. Do less, accomplish more. It's like the arrow hitting the target. This is truly doing less, accomplishing more. Efficiency of any action that we do depends on the efficiency of our thinking, which depends on the ability of the mind to perceive a thought at its finer level. Picking up a thought at the subtler level, that thought is more effective. Where does creativity come from? People say, well, it just came to me. Well, not really. You were just open to it. Now, you remember David Lynch. He passed away a little over a year ago. He is the film director and a big supporter of this procedure that opened up his creativity, the TM technique. He wrote a really cool book. It's a very David Lynch type of book. It's an easy read, short read. It's called Catching the Big Fish. And it's really about perceiving thought, where thought is more powerful and effective. You could call it intuition, but it's even more refined than that. It's a perception at a finer, less concrete level, more abstract, but also more accurate. So the art of thinking really lies in drawing the mind inward. The power of our action depends on the power of our thinking, and the quality of our thinking depends on the state of our consciousness. Okay. Hopefully I've made the point. One more paragraph. For more effective action, more effective thinking is necessary. Using minimum energy with maximum amount of results achieved is doing less but accomplishing more. For that to happen, the thought has to be in the right direction. Time's a precious commodity for all of us in this busy modern age, so being efficient in our actions with their basis in clearer and more effective thinking is really, really key. Drawing the mind back to its source is really the solution to doing less and accomplishing more, and having time to enjoy that day at the beach that you've been looking forward to. Summertime and the living is easy. Okay, so the next song that always reminds me of summer is In the Summertime. And then the next line is, When the Weather is Hot. Okay, so this summer song, it's really fun. It's called In the Summertime by Mungo Jerry. Now, he was popular in the 70s, so if you're not of that generation to know that song, I suggest you Google it. It's really, really fun. It's just a fun video to watch, too. So the first line of the song, in the summertime when the weather is hot. So let's talk about that. So we're all aware of being more cautious in the sun. This time of year, summer season, is also known as Pitta, according to the ancient healthcare system of Ayurveda. So one of the first podcasts I reposted is on Ayurveda because I considered it an important knowledge to understand because we can use it. It's practical stuff that you could use to encourage your own balance. It's a very effective system of healthcare. Historically, Ayurveda is the world's original system of healthcare. When translated from the Sanskrit language, Ayu or Ayus means life or lifespan, and Veda means knowledge or science. So Ayurveda is the knowledge of life. or the science of lifespan. So Ayurveda is a comprehensive system of natural health care consisting of many treatments and modalities for both the evaluation of health, the maintenance of good health, and also treatment of ill health. And these procedures are based on the deep understanding of the physiology, the mind body, as a reflection of the intelligence of nature. So it's a really amazing science and useful tools. But rather than treat the body as a collection of cells, tissues, organs, Ayurveda treats the body at its source. The emphasis of Ayurveda is technically on prevention and longevity, but it does have procedures to treat existing imbalances as well. At the heart of Ayurveda is the concept of creating perfect balance for mind and body by reawakening the intelligence of the physiology and letting it do its work. So the function of Ayurveda is to locate those imbalances, address them with procedures, routines, foods, etc., for the purpose of restoring health and balance. If imbalance can be addressed before it becomes a full-blown symptom, wouldn't that be better for us? Wouldn't have to go through a lot of stuff. Now, it's interesting here, because we're going to get into the hot part of the summertime. An element of Ayurveda, many have heard, is called dosha. The 5 elements, space, air, fire, water, earth, they combine to form the 3 operating principles of matter. And in Ayurveda, they are called doshas. Doshas is a governing principle of the physiology, and there are 3 of them, vata, pitta, and kapha. When these 3 principles are in balance, one is healthy. When they're out of balance, well, maybe not so much, depending, but with formulas and procedures, they're easy to address. Now, Pitta dosha, one of the 3 operating mechanisms of Ayurveda, it covers and governs metabolism and all things heat-related. And since each dosha is represented with a season, Pitta is the dosha for summer, when the weather is hot. It's Pitta, it's the dosha of transformation, which includes digestion. Our digestive fire, known in Ayurveda as Agni, is what we use to transform food. And this fire, Agni, is responsible for the transformation of food into fuel for our bodies. Pitta is responsible for this fire in our bellies, you can say, and if it's out of balance, our entire physiology can be thrown out of whack. But when Pitta dosha is in balance, there is robust health, excellent digestion, immunity is good, resilience after illnesses, strong energy, strong will, sharp intellect, determination and passion, joy and gratitude. Pitta-dominated people are natural leaders with courage, ambition, and may have some perfectionism thrown in there. You can spot a Pitta person in the cold weather when everyone else is bundled up and they're in shorts. But when Pitta's out of balance, oh, yeah, not so great. They can overheat quickly, and that can turn a little uncomfortable, like poor digestion, hyperacidity, occasional heartburn, acne, skin problems. Oftentimes, with a Pitta imbalance, someone can be short-tempered, frustrated, aggressive, and Pitta imbalance can also manifest into something like workaholic tendencies, a little controlling, fiery personality. Pitta people tend to get hangry if they don't eat meals on time. But in addition to digestion, Pitta dosha is also related to the skin and the eyes. And these are the 2 things that we are particularly concerned about protecting in the hot sun. Because if they go out of balance, then there's a problem. If Pitta dosha gets overheated, the ultraviolet rays from the sun penetrate the skin, causing the overheated skin to destroy its own moisturizing functions. And when this happens, guess what it's called? Sunburn. No matter what your skin type is, you can get sunburn. And also you want to wear protection for your eyes. So I'm going to give you a couple of things, little suggestions for cooling the effects in the Pitta season, a few suggestions. Now, one of them might be real popular, but hang in there. It's recommended to exercise less in the Pitta season, or at least find an exercise that doesn't overheat so much, like swimming, walking in the early morning hours or in the moonlight, maybe doing some more yoga asanas in your routine, some Pilates, something where you're not going to, You really don't want to do hot yoga in the summertime. You might like it, but maybe save that for the cooler weather. So, knowing that when Pitta is out of balance, it tends towards forcefulness, little intensity, competitiveness. It's good in this time to be a little chill. I mean, literally, but also in your attitude. Now, to soothe Pitta, it's also best to eat cooling foods and favor sweet, bitter, astringent tastes. Try to reduce spicy, sour, and salty if that's easy for you, and some oily food. That's not so great in Pitta season. So when the temperature is hot outside, the body tries to compensate by generating less heat, so the metabolism is at its best midday. That's when the sun is the highest, and that's when Ayurveda recommends that your largest meal should be taken. So that means eating the largest meal at night. It's not so good for the body. It's not the best condition for effective digestion. But actually, this isn't just a suggestion for the summertime. It's also a suggestion all year long. Now, working too hard or too long, that can aggravate Pitta and lead to irritability and frustration and even some irritation. We call it anger. But to counter all that, counter the heat with soothing, relaxing activities like listening to your favorite music or your favorite podcast, reading at the beach, and spending time with loved ones. So you want to refer back to summertime and the living is easy. Okay, this next collection in my vignette, it's just fun. These are songs that remind me of having fun in the summer. Dance to the music. Remember Sly and the Family Stone? Dancing in the streets, and even Soak Up the Sun. These are just songs that kind of remind you of having fun. Make sure you're having fun. So we're making a progression here. Take it easy, especially in the Pitta season. Now, it's traditional. It's usually when musicians are touring in the summer times. We go to music festivals. Music soothes the soul. It makes us feel good. It stirs memories. The reason we even go to these festivals is because we just want to enjoy. We want to enjoy the sound. Now, according to quantum physics, the superstring theory in particular, everything that consists of elementary particles and the elementary particles themselves are the vibrational states of the non-material field of intelligence. I don't know if you want me to say that again, but basically what it means is the subtlest level of life is non-material, but they're vibrations. But specific frequencies, it's not random. Specific frequencies of the deepest level of life, we can also say the sounds of silence. What we consider the material universe is actually the manifestation, expression of this dynamic silence with different frequencies of consciousness manifest. Music is the science of resonance, harmonic flow, and the elementary particles correspond to the musical notes we know in the material world. These are not random sounds, but a harmony of sound, sequentially unfolding in an orderly manner because nature is intelligent. The universe is a symphony of sound, not a cacophony. There is a flow. Melody is flow. The flow of frequency is music. So there's a really deep understanding of this flow and order in the Vedic tradition of knowledge where the TM technique originates. You know yoga, and I mentioned Ayurveda. These are branches of the Vedic knowledge for the purpose of helping us create balance in life. There's also a Vedic science of music called Gandharva Veda. And I'm going to soon share a show, maybe I'll do that next, that I did with a master musician of Gandharva Veda music, also known as the music of nature. It's very sweet and soothing to listen with your eyes closed. So we often listen to music with our eyes closed to enjoy the feeling that the music produces in us. Or maybe we dance to the music like Sly and his family invited us to do. Maybe we move to the rhythm because it makes us feel good. We're moving with the flow of the music, with the flow of evolution. Okay, I have one more. My last vignette is a little different kind of song. Some may not consider this a summer song, but I actually think it's an interesting addition to these vignettes. It's a song that reminds me of the summertime because it's a song about memories. It's called Springsteen by Eric Church. And if you haven't heard it, I recommend it. It's interesting. He says this song is about memories of fun times, of past times, but I found the lyric that he has in there really profound. It says, melody is like a memory. And that is actually a profound truth. When you hear a song from your youth, for example, doesn't it take you right back there? When I hear a song that reminds me of summer fun with friends, a song that maybe was popular during those times or any time of great fun and adventure, I never change the station. I usually sing along with it, kind of loud in my car by myself. I just drink in the memory of that fun time. Memory, it's part of the abstract mind. It holds all of our information like a file cabinet. It's made of impressions, things that made a dent in the mind. These impressions can be deep and lasting, like a line in cement, or maybe they're more abstract and less burdensome, like a line in air. It's this one that I want to talk about, the line in air. The experience happens, but it doesn't overshadow the mind, causing it anxiety or pressure or loss of energy. Overthinking, remuneration, anyone? I think we know what that is. When impressions enter the mind like a line in air, the mind is open, it's clear, it's functioning on a quieter level. This is an experience where the impression is certainly there, but it's not hitting you over the head like a hammer. In this case, the mind's inner nature is not obstructed. It's not hidden. The files are there, but on a much quieter level. This is life in liberation or freedom. This is an experience where the memory will be there when it's needed and not just hanging around, making the mind active and anxious for no reason. This is the value of memory. This is the real value of memory. There when needed, not when it isn't. Useful, whatever is in favor of our evolution, that we're going to know, that we're going to remember. And when something sparks it, a note from a summer song, a familiar melody, it's a memory enlivened that results in joy and happiness. Like the first note of the song, life unfolds from its source. This is the point I was hoping to address in this particular podcast, Summer Shorts. It's how much connection we have with that source that produces more harmony and efficiency in our lives. It's a matter if we are aware of that as well. So enjoy the warm and some hot days of summer. Stay cool with the Ayurvedic suggestions. Spend some relaxed days at the beach or the lake or the park with the dog. But be sure to protect your skin and eyes. Eat a healthy lunch of fresh whole foods and dance to the music, making happy memories.